Yeah, so I had to do this because YouTube gets more unusable with every update. Um, so unfortunately, this is what I have. Um, Let me just try to alert some people. I'm just talking. I just want to see if I can talk to some people who were in my other stream because YouTube is unfortunately so unusable now that with every new update it becomes less usable. Let me just type that. But I am here now, isn't it? Yeah. I also love the hair needs a cut, but that's all right. Yes. Hello there, everyone. Um, so I am here now. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's the right way to put it. Ah, there you are. So I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to turn that off. I'm now on my phone, which has a rather reduced battery capacity, so I have this feeling that this conversation is not going to be a very long one, but we should be good for a bit. No, it wasn't just you with the YouTube streaming issues. I created a post yesterday, a planned stream, but there seems to be no way for me to join it unless I have streaming software. But I mean, there is a webcam option which should work, but it doesn't work because why would it, right? Why would anything work? And then it did do something, but I couldn't flip my camera on my device, so you were looking at my dishwasher and garbage can. So this was a superb scenario. No, my phone has no charger because it doesn't charge anymore. It only charges on a wireless device, which means that I have to put the wireless charger in and then put everything in, and it's going to be a mess, isn't it? So I'm going to refrain from doing that. However, we should be good for a bit. Hello, Frank. A tour of the home. This is it. There's not much to it. Yeah. Anyway, we're here now. How are we all doing? How are we all doing? I'm drinking your tea, Ellen. Thank you. I mean, not your tea as in I physically stole your tea and now I'm drinking it, but I'm drinking the tea that you sent me. Okay, let me see this because I received a question just now. You stayed up till 2 a.m. in Australia yet again to come hang out. Well, that's a waste of time, man, but I'm happy that you're here, of course. Thank you very much. Is a 14-karat gold nib last longer than an 18-karat or 21 gold nib? No, I have not experienced that. It's not really the gold that touches the paper, right? So I wouldn't worry about that. Strings and pedals are doing some pen tuning. Well, yes, I will be glad to provide some distraction. All right, let's see, what else do we have? Yes, learning to teach classes online instead of in person. That's an interesting challenge, isn't it? I had the good fortune that I had a spring class last spring that was all online, so I was able to familiarize with the software and all that stuff then. So fortunately, when we switched online now, which makes complete sense, I didn't have to also figure out how all that software works. So that I'm glad that that I had that opportunity then, because if you now have to move all your stuff online and figure out how all this works and do all these things, well then, yeah, that's not very pleasant. Yeah. Spending time learning italic calligraphy. Well, italic calligraphy, that's a fun thing. Yeah, yeah. I've never been able to really master italic calligraphy, but it looks very attractive. I always think it's very nice. It's a nice thing to have. How is the weather? Well, we had snow up till a couple days ago, but as of yesterday, I think it's been a little nicer. There is sun out now, and the snow on the ground is melting. So this is the impression of spring that we get, you know. Hello, Simon. Nice to see you. Let's see what else we have. If someone sends you a pen to review, what's the turnaround time? Depends on who's asking. That mainly depends on what it is and what the plan with that pen is. At this point, I would say that I've scheduled reviews till about June, so it will be end of June. At this point, I think. Yeah, yeah. What is my favorite vintage pen and why? Nothing. I'm not a vintage person, really, and that's just me. I just don't have... Can I say it? Yes, I don't have any vintage pens. It's not something that really appeals to me for probably a couple of reasons. One reason is that often, not always, but often they're a bit smaller, and the ones that are larger are very expensive, typically. But secondly, I'm always a bit worried about fragility, because I do use my pens and I do take them out all the time, so I'm always scared that if I get something precious and vintage that I will tear it in half or something, and that's kind of unpleasant. What online teaching software does your uni use? I did mine with Blackboard. Yes, so did I. Collaborate Ultra, which actually works surprisingly well. I like that you can put the slides in and you can talk, but I would really like it if you could put the slides and you have your face down at the bottom or something, so that you have a bit of dynamic stuff going on, because PowerPoint animations don't work in that. Yeah. Where are you located? I'm located in Canada, Red Deer, Alberta. What pen is on my radar? Merely for the purposes of actually trying it out, holding it and seeing it, I really want to see a Curadas, because the whole world has become obsessed with the Curadas before I think anyone's actually really touched it. So I'm very interested to see what that will be like, what it feels like, and how it performs. Yeah. The best flex fountain pen. Well, if you're looking to spend a lot of money, I honestly like the Montblanc Flex Nib more than I thought I would. But that would be an excellent opportunity to go to some sort of some sort of vintage pen, I guess, because that is still the standard. I really liked, if you don't want to spend too much, I really like the third tier Montblanc pens, the vintage Montblanc pens. There's a bunch in the 300, I forget which number exactly, but there's an index on my website anyway, Montblanc 300 something. That was really affordable, and that had a really nice 14 karat flex nib, so that's always something you can check out. I'm asked how good my pronunciation of German words and brands is. Have I learned proper grammar? Proper German. Well, yeah, I did have German in school. I also have an Austrian godmother. This is a long story, which I'm not going to relate here because it's long. But in a nutshell, I was baptized in Austria, and I've visited a lot, so I've been exposed to German from an early age. And by no means is my German perfect, but I'm sure that has helped. Yes. Any hikes or outdoor adventures coming up? Well, I'm trying to stay in as much as I can to really do the right thing. And that gets boring after a while. But I'm really trying to do that, because I think that's the wisest thing to do for everyone now. So that's it. So I don't think there is much in ways of outdoor stuff coming up. Are you waiting on any pens like us? Yeah, who isn't waiting on it? Who is not waiting on pens, right? I do. I just had a charming chat with Joost Appelboom, who wants to send me some stuff for review, and I can give a sneak peek. Moctezuma may be part of it, so we'll see about that. You made my head crazy about the Logby notebooks, and because of the corona crisis, they cannot ship to Europe. Yeah, but look at it this way. Now you have something to look forward to, right? How amazing is that? Maybe Todd, your sketches are amazing. Yes, they are. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Which is the pen which you use the most? I'm thinking, let's do a silence broadcast. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Okay, which one do I use the most? I really like using, I have it inked. I have it inked right here. Visconti Opera Master Tobacco. I really like that pen. It's a very nice writer. It is a bit heavy. Recently, I'm going to be honest, I've used Darth Vader a lot. Cross Darth Vader. Sailor nib, medium, writes like a Western fine, is a little on the heavier side because it is all metal, especially when it's very comfortable posted, but it does get a little top heavy after a while. Superb nib, but a nib made by Sailor. It's a lovely nib. So these two I've been using a lot actually, and I have a tool roll. I don't know what's in it. Not much. No, these are fairly cheap pens. Those are pens that I use a lot because I find them very pleasant to use, very comfortable. But also an Opus 88 Omara. I've been using that a lot. Really like it. What's my favorite pen? Why is it a Mont Blanc? In it. I think I sort of just answered that, didn't I? So we can move on. Remember the time you tore Eric's exquisite, wow, unusual, I can't read this. Remember the time you tore Eric's exquisite, unusual vintage pen paperwork in half? Yeah, I remember this. It was a tragic day, but it was also incredibly funny. Does every fountain pen company use the same tipping materials? I don't know. I actually don't know. I'm assuming it's similar metals. I don't know if they are exactly identical. I wouldn't be surprised if every company has their own little sort of alloy, but on the other hand, I also wouldn't be surprised at all if they kind of go to a standard supplier and they all buy their stuff there, because it has to be very hard metal, right? Of course, given that a lot of companies use Bock and Jovo nibs, they're all the same, so they probably all use the same material. Yeah. Have I tried to qualify for Mensa? No, I have not. I have once. A long time ago. I gave a presentation at a Mensa conference because they invited me, which was a lot of fun. And you'd have enjoyed that because you're a pharmacist. That was on psychopharmacology. Where is Aziza? Aziza is in Toronto. We thought it would be fun. Hello. Which is a priori good pen which has most disappointed you? I'm thinking. The Parker 51 is an excellent pen, exceptional in its design, concept, way ahead of its time, all those things, and it does nothing for me. It's just a personal thing, right? It does nothing for me. So I wasn't disappointed by its performance. I was disappointed that was it. Because everybody's like, ew, Parker 51! And then I got one, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Moving on, you know? Okay, what else do we have? Sorry, I'm just scrolling. Give me 1 second here, because I had to... I of course went all the way down, and now I can't find where it was. Okay, we got it. It's high tech today, man. What is the next pen show you'll be at? Gute Frage. I don't know. It could be anything at this point, couldn't it? If there ever are pen shows again. Imagining that there will be pen shows again, I was kind of thinking of maybe DC. But it's April now. I'm not sure that's happening. Oh, yeah, the Parker from my grandfather. Yes, I do use that. So I suppose that could be my vintage. That would be the vintage, I guess. That's not a super old vintage, but it is an out of production model. Yes. Yes. Is the professor still teaching penology? Of course, the professor is immortal and he will be in that chair position forever, man. He will be there. Have pen manufacturers done anything recently with their products lately that has really impressed you? Anything innovative? Well, I like that Sailor is trying to do those specialty nibs again that they used to do because they were a lot of fun. And I just happen to have one here. Let's see. It's not a new one, it's the old one, but I mean, yeah, classic Pens LB5. Okay, just to give you an idea, cross Darth Vader, just a black line. I'm not doing anything, just doing some squiggles. Black line, cross Darth Vader. Okay, classic Pens LB5 Nagahara cross point. You see the issue? Yeah, that's why I think it is fun that they're bringing that back, right? So I like that. Beyond that, a pen remains a pen, and there are so many things you can do with it. It's a nib and a feed, and I have not yet seen anything that has been utterly revolutionary in my mind. Okay, let's see what else. What is a good job for an intelligent but lazy person? That's a good question. Pen reviewer. We move on. Do you know if Conid and Noodlers are coming out with new models or designs? I haven't heard anything about... sorry, I was just laughing because I read COVID and I thought, when is COVID coming out? The news was like, oh my god, there's another virus now! No, so that's not the issue. Conid, I have not heard anything about new models. Noodlers, I'm sure they will at some point because they appear to be doing a lot of these things. Hope you are, Aziza, and good and well. Yes, we are so far. So that's let's try to keep it that way. Someone who enjoys the Stoicism series. You're that one who watches those videos. No, I'm just kidding. I just finished, I think, book 6, and I want to say there are 12 books in the meditation, something like that. So there is, I think we're about halfway through. After that, what I was thinking about was Tony Long, Professor Anthony Long, right? But Tony Long, colloquially, is one of the Stoicism experts in the world, and he just published relatively recently a full translation of all the letters of Seneca, and I thought that would be kind of nice. Annabelle asks if she is my godmother. That would be the twist of the century, wouldn't it? It's like I am your father, but then all over again. Yes. All right. Let's see what else we have. I'm interested in the Y Studio desk pen model. Yes, I have to... yeah, that desk pen, yeah, they make nice stuff. I like it. Someone was offered... Kate, you were offered a position in Red Deer. That's fascinating. Yeah, I should have done it. Vibrant pen community here. If you would have been there, it would have been you and me and one other person that I know of. So... my accent is very English. Well, I try, but I sometimes feel that it's changing a bit now. And then when I don't pay attention, then it changes into something else. And then when I'm teaching, I either polish it up to sound intelligent, and or I don't, and then I sound different. So now I'm confusing myself. Yeah, Robin, I was thinking about that. Like, if you're looking for someone who's intelligent but lazy politician, but then I thought, but they actually do a lot. But I guess that's for the ones that actually, yeah. Let's leave it at that. Most modern pens either use Bock or Jovo. Speaking of steel nibs, which one do you prefer? I think Jovo. I found them to be a little, often a little less dry than the Bock nibs. Plus, you can say Jovo. Da, 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 da. A good bouncy broad nib. Well, nothing modern steel, I would say. So you'd have to get something in gold. But I don't have, no, I don't have a specific thing in mind for that. No, I have to think about it. What am I cooking in isolation? Yeah, I've been trying to use up as many things as I could. So I've been making a lot of like chili type one pan dishes. On my list is a banana bread. I want to bake a banana bread because I haven't tried it. I mean, I've tried banana, but I haven't made it. I'm waiting on my first Lamy 2000. That's a nice pen, actually. Yeah. What pen do you really not like? Well, I think we talked about the Parker 51. And I don't want to, like, it's not that I hate the Parker 51. Let's make this very clear, because otherwise I'm going to get a letter from the Parker 51 Association and they're like, oh, but you, no. It's not that I hate it. It's just that it didn't do anything for me, right? While fully aware of its historical significance. Okay. Show me more. Have you ever lost an expensive pen, Dr. Brown? That sounds like the name of a song, doesn't it? I have not. No. Knock on wood. I've never lost anything. I sometimes wish I had the pens that I used in high school still, but those were lost, but I don't think I ever lost them. They were just lost to time. I don't know what happened to them. What would you say had more impact on a fountain pen, ink or paper? Well, I think both. I really think both. You can have the most, like the greatest tuned pen in the world, but if you only use copy or paper, it's not going to work. And the ink does also make a difference. At some point, someone asked me about my ink, and they said, I see everyone posting these things where it shades, but mine doesn't shade, so what's wrong? And I said, what nib do you use? Well, extra fine. I said, okay, what paper do you use? Copy or paper? Yeah, okay, then it's not going to work, right? It is a factor of multiple things. That's a beautiful description. It is a factor of multiple things. Okay, I mean, there are multiple factors that impact how your pen writes. Paper is a very important one. Good paper will make a difference, but so does ink. You can have a very dry nib, and if you put a very dry ink in it, it's barely going to write. So I think that I would say they're both equally important. Do you miss living in the Netherlands? Sometimes there are certain things that you miss. Yeah, but I've really. I was going to use Dutch idiom here. I found my turn here. In other words, I've enjoyed here, so I've adapted here, I think. How does Canada compare to the Netherlands? Canada is much bigger, but when I say much bigger, I mean incredibly much bigger. So the scale of everything is much bigger. I think I've emphasized that enough now. That everything is larger, and that means that everything is larger. So a supermarket, not just standard little supermarket downtown, but like many supermarkets are way bigger. Shops are way bigger, but distances are much bigger as well. So I found that I had a discussion about that with someone, and I would like to credit them, but I forget who this was. Was it Peter? Maybe it was Peter. I don't remember. And in the Netherlands, when you ask someone, hey, how far is this city from that city? You say 120 kilometers. And that would be far away for Dutch terms. But here you say 3 hours. Because who cares about the distance? It's going to take you 3 hours of driving single trip to get there. So that's a change, and that gives you an indication of the scale. I mean, when Aziz and I drove from Toronto to Red Deer, it took us 24 hours of driving. I mean, actual 24 hours of driving to get out of the province of Ontario. Now, transplant that to the Netherlands, where you drive 3 hours from basically diagonally one part of the country to the other, and that's the borders of the country. So you can do the math, right? It's a very interesting scale difference. Okay, what else do we have? Visconti Rainbow. Is that a psychedelic one? Yeah, it looks cute. I like it. I like the looks, but... The Sailor King of Pens still come with the Naginata Togi nib? I don't know, did it ever? I thought they only had the medium and the broad nibs on that. Obviously not, because I have a cross point, which is king of pen. I don't know. I thought so, because I thought that was Mr. Nagahara's son, the whole Naginata Togi thing, and he's alive and kicking, so I'm assuming yes. I appear to have reversed the aging process. Yes, I have done all sorts of things and abstained from all sorts of things, which have made me grow younger and younger as the years pass. Ah, Annabelle says no. Thank you, Annabelle. Simar says yes, Iridium. Thank you. That is useful input as well. Thank you. What is your favorite paper? I'm a little partial to Rhodia. I find myself using a lot of Rhodia. And sometimes I initially had a thing against Tomoe River, but I have now become I've been baptized in the river Tomoe and I'm reborn now. So now I can actually use that, and I do actually see the merits because it is actually fantastic paper. Okay. Does being stuck at home mean that you change your pen habits? Well, I have a few. This is the fancy case, and what's in the fancy case is the Nitrio Genkai, and he says, throwing it on the table, and the Delta Roma Imperiale, and an Amiki Emperor, and a Denitrio Mikado. These are somewhat more elaborate pens, and I don't necessarily take these to work. Not because I'm really worried that something will happen to them, but I just don't. This thing is massive. I don't know. I've heard that before, but I don't know if you feel like, look at my face, and I'll look at this pen case. Yeah, so like this is huge. So I don't always take those out, but I am trying to use them now. How do you feel about The Mandalorian? I loved it. Yes, it's Disney, but I'm not. I think everyone should enjoy whatever they wish to enjoy. So I'm not. I'm not in the camp of, oh, The Rise of Skywalker was terrible because of these 500 reasons. Like I don't care. It's just a movie. It's entertainment. I find it entertaining, and the first time I saw it, I wasn't really sure about it. Then it kind of grew on me a bit when I watched it again. The Mandalorian, I've really enjoyed. I think Disney really struck a good balance in sort of Western gunslinging type things plus Star Wars. I think they did a really neat job on that, and just the right touch of sort of cuteness with the child, etc. I think it's not bad at all. I actually also like the soundtrack, but to be honest, I like Jon Favreau as a director a lot. I also like many of his other movies, so I like his style. Which fountain pen fall, of course, nib down, caused you the most pain? It wasn't a fall. I had a Yardled Viceroy Grand that once I made a motion like this. It fell, I grabbed it, and I smacked the nib on something, and the tines were like that afterwards. It caused me grief. It was fixed, but it caused me grief. Any thoughts about what would innovate or invigorate the fountain pen world? I think digitization is something that really is part of the future, and I know that there are companies that are working on it with the notebooks that sort of digitize your writing. I think that's important. You can do it in different ways. There's also the Sim Monteverde did this years ago with the little stylus tips. That's a way to incorporate a pen into more digital life. And ST Dupont has a pen with a USB stick in it, so you have memory stick in it. So I think all of those things are a melding of the digital world and the analog world, and I think that's very important as writing culture moves forward. Okay. What new Visconti limited edition would you recommend? I don't know. There are so many, and I just don't know. I would recommend to try it out in a shop before you buy it, if you can, to see if you get a nib that writes, which in my book always kind of helps. I think that would be nice. What is your favorite ink? I'm finding paper. There is an ink that is just beautiful. Perfection. Wonderful. And magnificent. It is, of course, SBREBROWN. Hashtag. Boom! I do really love it. I'm obviously biased, but I do really like it. What are your thoughts about Leonardo pens? I love them. I've had a few where the nibs were somewhat on the dry side, but that was an easy fix. But overall, and I've heard that from other people too, that's why I mention it. But overall, I found them to be very, very pleasant, and especially if you get the acrylic models. I did bring all the pens here. If you get the acrylic models, then I think you're in for a treat, because they're relatively speaking not that expensive. I mean, relatively speaking, right? Not that expensive, and especially if you get them with a steel nib. The Grande, I love it. This one is stellar. This Furore, this material, that is just, it pops. It pops in photographs, it pops when you hold it, it's magnificent. Messenger, a lot of fun. And even this one, the Momento Zero, the original one, I don't mean even this one in a negative way, but it's, I know it's just my phone, you probably can't see this very well. But the pattern on this is beautiful. I've just shot a 4-way fountain pen shootout between the 4 of these, not to show which one is better, but just to show them side by side, how they write, how big they are, etc., because I thought that would be useful. That's going to, I don't know when it's going to be published, but one of them days it's going to be published, and then you'll see it. More cooking videos in the future. Yeah, they often, these kinds of things divide people a bit, because of course it's a pen channel, and then people say, hey, but I don't want to see that. Well, then you could not watch it, but I could also open another channel, but then I have to build up a whole other channel, which is actually a lot of work, but it would be kind of fun. So I'm thinking of doing it, because I do really enjoy, I like to cook. So yeah, let's say yes, let's do that. Is there a nib made of silver? No, I don't think so, because I think it's too soft. I have spread that misinformation in an early video, but that's because I'm part of the Illuminati. The only good thing about the corona crisis is that we probably will not be able to go on holiday this year, so we can spend more on pens. Yeah, and you know what? I actually think it's a very sensible way to look at things. I was thinking of, I will keep this short, but I was thinking of how many things I'm used to doing that all cost money, that I don't have to do, and that are now saving me money. Like, how easy is it for us in industrialized nations to say, oh, I'm just going to have lunch here, $20 lunch. Oh, I'm just going to have a drink. Oh, I don't drink alcohol, but like, I'll have a tea here. Why would I go to Starbucks or Second Cup? That's a thing here. I don't know if it's everywhere, but say, like, why would I go there when I have better tea? Because Alain just sent me some, for example. I have good friends who send me tea. I have multiple friends who send me tea. Simon also does it. It was always fantastic. Why would I spend $5 on a cup of tea when I have better tea at home that I already have? So it's actually, this whole thing has made me think about those things. God, my hair is ludicrous. Anyway, so I don't think it's bad. Yeah. Save the money. Don't go on a trip. Save it and buy something nice that will also last you, right? Are still using? I love the Emperor stub nib, the Miki Emperor, or the Demetrio Mikado, which is also Emperor. The short answer is yes, both. I use them and I love them. What reading do you do if it's not anything to do with work? For fun, in other words. I have just started on this, which ticks a lot of boxes for me. The Dragons of Eden, because it's Carl Sagan, or love, and it's about intelligence and the brain. So this is a very neat one, and it's not a lot. It's not very long, so that shouldn't take me too long. I like to do that. I have found myself recently really gravitating towards non-fiction more than fiction. However, I have a colleague here, and she suggested that we should do a thing now that we're in isolation, where I read something from her discipline and she reads something from my discipline. So she will read a book on the brain, and I will read The Road, which is nice apocalyptic. So when I'm done with the Dragons of Eden, I'm hitting the road. Oh, that was smooth. damn. Okay. Was meant to go to DC for the first time this year. Well, let's see what happens. I'm not too optimistic, but let's see what happens. What have you found to be the most intriguing aspect of brain function? A lot. And I'll restrain myself here, but there are so many processes just on the level of ions, etc., and that I find very interesting. The brain is such a complicated organ that you can look at it from a very gross anatomical perspective. Gross is in coarse, right? Or you can get finer and finer and finer down to more and more molecular levels, and that I find very interesting, that you can just explain things on tiny little like proteins doing stuff and being created, etc. That I think is very, very cool. Like the series on Stoicism, any tips for finding a sense of purpose in these challenging times? Yeah, work on yourself. I don't mean that in an offensive way, but I think that's a very good thing that you can do, even if you are utterly unable to go out, if you are not really able to interact with people. You can work on yourself. You can think about what things in yourself you could improve and work on them. So that I think is a option that you always have. And don't despair. There are many things you can do indoors that don't require much. Like I have been very fortunate in being able to read. I think I read something like 3 or 4 books in the past 3 weeks. So I mean, I've used that time to read things that I find interesting and that teach me things. What's your favorite brown ink? Mont Blanc Toffee Brown. No, I know we're kidding. So, yeah. SBREBROWN is a perfect ink. No, I'm not that arrogant, but I really do like it. I'm just very happy with the way SBREBROWN came out, and I'm incredibly grateful for the support. People are buying this online and either internationally or whatever, but I'm really grateful for that. Yeah. Yeah, Peerless 125. Yeah, I know that's a great one. I've not given that pen much thought until the Darth Vader, because it's Darth Vader. But yeah, I see it now. I really see it. It is a beautiful pen. Yeah. All right. Got that. What else? Yeah. Again. Yeah. Pen reviewer. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I said, isn't it? I think it's true. I think it's true. If you are intelligent but lazy, pen reviewing is not that bad, because don't forget, like a pen reviewer is like someone who goes to a birthday party, brings no gift, but criticizes the gifts that all the other people have brought, right? That's what a reviewer does. Like, I don't contribute anything. I just criticize everybody else's work. I have nightmares about that sometimes. But that's why I try to look for the positive in everything. That's why I do not say in my reviews, this is a piece of shit, that sucks and everything. What's the point in doing that? And this is very important to me. If something is bad, I will say so. I will point out that I don't like the way it feels, or that it's too expensive, or that it doesn't write properly, of course. But I think you should also try to look at the positive of all these things. Okay. Can you recommend a girthy pen for big hands, but at a budget? It's not everyone's looks. There's a pen on a budget. These are made by William Shakur, 3D printed, piston filled, number 8 nib, and they are not, relatively speaking, that expensive. But that is a girthy pen. If you don't believe me, you see the difference? Leonardo, William Shakur, and it has a name now, the Titan or the Giant or the really big pen, I forgot, but you'll figure it out. William Shakur, Shakour, is on Instagram. Okay. This is a session on fountain pens. Would there be any live session on Stoicism in the future? You know, that's not a bad idea. Would we like to see that? Because we can make it happen. It's a good question, thank you. Namiki, is it a great feeling difference between an Emperor number 50 nib and a Yukari nib? Yeah, absolutely. Because the Yukari, even the Royale, has a nib that is way smaller. Make no mistake about the Emperor nib. Like, this is the Freud of nibs, right? Here you have a number 6 nib on Leonardo. I know this is not going to be very much in focus, but you don't even have to have this in focus that much. So on top, Leonardo. At the bottom, Emperor. It's not a hole, it's a weird reflection. Yeah, there is a pretty substantial difference. So yeah, no, there is a difference between the Yukari nibs and the Emperor nib. Now, the modern Emperor nibs tend to be a little stiffer, if I remember correctly. This is one of the older nibs, which was a little flexier, springier. It's just springier, right? Okay. What are my thoughts on The Last Jedi and the thoughts on The Rise of Skywalker? Here too, I shall restrain myself. The Rise of Skywalker, I found very interesting. I found it very fast-paced. It was not what I expected it to be like, but it's a movie. It's entertainment. I liked it. I thought it was fun. Very fast-paced. I thought the ending, I suppose at this point everyone has seen it, but I'll be vague. I found the absolute ending with the Emperor a little disappointing. But if that would ruin my day, then I would need to watch more Stoicism videos. As to I'll be honest, The Last Jedi, I loved. I know that, I think 90% of the world hates it. I loved it. But then I'm a psychologist, and I found this whole story arc of Luke being the almost post-traumatic stress disordered old mentor who feels that he has failed his student and is now in seclusion and is traumatized and doesn't want to be involved in anything anymore. I thought that was fantastic, absolutely brilliant. I love that. And I completely understand how all kinds of people would be annoyed and would say, yeah, but I want Luke Skywalker to fly out and have lightsaber duels with Snoke. I fully understand that. But I thought they went a much more emotional route, and I thought that was very interesting. I could have done without the whole Canto Bite scene. I thought that was a little, let's show off some special effects. But I loved every scene with Mark Hamill in it, I'll be honest. Okay, is there any 14-karat gold nib option for the Pelican M1000? I don't think so. Maybe a vintage one, maybe. I don't know if that is even a thing, but I don't know. I miss Clive and Norbert. So do I. And I think there will be a new episode of Clive and Norbert soon about Freudian slips and Freudian inferences. This was suggested to me by someone, and I think she did a great job suggesting that. Could you recommend a decent, full, solid gold pen? I don't think so, because nothing comes to mind. Sterling silver is no issue, but solid gold, I have to think about it. Talk amongst yourselves, give suggestions. Which ink and pen did you... oh yeah, my dissertation. Yes, I actually had a Visconti Kakadu with me to take notes as I was being asked questions. My dissertation did have opening capitals, like calligraphy of opening capitals for each chapter, and that was just a 6mm parallel. How many pens do you have in your collection right now? If you had to leave with only one, what would it be, huh? Yeah, well, these two are full. That's 12. What's that? 12. So 24. About 30. About 30. Which one would I take if I'd have to leave quickly? Well, that's very hard, but Visconti Opera Master is a good one, because I assume it would be something that I would actually use to write every day with. That's a good one, but to be honest, Furore, Leonardo, I wouldn't mind taking that. Is there a food shortage where you are? Not that I know of. Let's try to keep it that way. What's your favorite filling system? I like the Conid system a lot, and I like the one-way shut-off valves. They're a little bit, a piston is really convenient, but cleaning it is a pain. And I find these one-way shut-off valves like you have on certain pens, like the one that I can't find. Like on this Opus 88 Omar. Some people have the feeling that I always use like $1,000+ pens. I don't. This is an Opus 88 Omar, which is fantastic and clearly poorly cleaned. But one-way shut-off valve is fantastic. Take off the section, eyedropper, fill up the barrel. Secondary ink chamber, you want it to ride wetter, you open up the valve more, you want it to ride dry, you close off the valve. It's fantastic. It's easy to clean, it holds a lot of ink. Nothing wrong with that. You are the best. I heard that. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Knife questions. Well, he's been way into Japanese and Chinese cooking. I think he wants a big chopper. Yeah. If you really want to get a Chinese chef's knife, which you can use not to chop through bone, but to cut your vegetables, prepare your vegetables and such, what you should really do is go to Chinatown in Amsterdam, Hanan Zedek, and there's some Chinese supermarkets there, and they sell these things, and they will set you back almost nothing. If you want to have something that you think may be fancier, then Kaishun, Kaishun, also makes a Chinese vegetable cleaver. That is, I think, what he's talking about. If he wants a really big cleaver to actually like butcher and cut through bone, that's a different story, because that's an actual cleaver. But then I don't think that's what he's talking about. We can talk more about this. My custom A23 doesn't write well. I'm a little hesitant to adjust it because I don't have a lot of experience with that. Need some encouragement, some tips. Well, there's two options. You can send it to me and I'll throw it in the bin for you, free of charge, and you'll never have to see it again. Or maybe seek help from someone. There are people who tune nibs if you're unwilling to do it yourself. And I'm going to be honest, if I have a complicated thing, I send it to a professional because I don't want to mess up my nib. So there are many people, nibmeisters out there. I've had excellent experiences with many of them. Mike Masayama is my nib god, but he's very busy, so it will take a while. But there is the nib grinder, there's Independence, there is I don't want to leave anyone out, but nib grinder, again, talk amongst yourselves, give more suggestions, but these are all great people, and you wouldn't, like, none of them is going to do a poor job. Do you ever find yourself wanting to take a complete break from the world of pens? It happens, yeah, but then I also realize that by far most people in the pen community are lovely and wonderful and fantastic, and then I just also want to keep going again. So that works really well. Thank you all. You've been lovely. Okay. What's the best pen ink combination for writing on cheap paper like a composition notebook? I would go with something, a fine nib and a dry ink, because then your ink won't feather that much. And anything fine nib. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Lamy Safari with a fine nib would be great. And a drier ink, maybe a Parker Quink or something. Those are a little dry, but yeah. Grant Mia Pens! Hello, Steph. Man with a wonderful name. Thank you for joining here. Lovely to see you. I always enjoy your videos. So thanks for showing up here. I appreciate it. I hope you're well. Have you considered producing fountain pens? I was in touch at some point with a random maker of Italian pens, and he said he was interested. I don't know who it was, but keep your eyes peeled for that one. No, nothing concrete at this point. Okay, but the cogs are turning. Do you remember if the Nikaya elastic nib is wetter than the normal nib? I don't, but I do remember it was a nice nib. They do good jobs on their nibs. You should ask Gourmet Pen. She knows these things because she is obsessed with having flex. Generally speaking, do you feel there is a meaningful difference in writing with an 18K nib versus a 14K nib? You know what? No. And now people can say, oh, no, he didn't just say that. Oh, no, he didn't. Yes, I did. And here's why. I have found that there is very little consistency in 14 karat or 18 karat nibs. And here's the thing. Provided they are tuned properly, they're ground properly, all that stuff, they will write well. Will you find a big difference? Yeah, you can. But it's very difficult to predict what you'll be getting because a 14 karat nib is an alloy, right? An 18 karat nib is an alloy, it's not pure gold. I have used 14 karat nibs that were so springy that they were basically flex nibs, even without being advertised being flex nibs. I've also used 14 karat gold nibs that were rigid as a nail. If you want to get a nib worked on, the nibmeisters often prefer 14 karat nibs. So if that's your consideration, maybe get a 14K nib. Beyond that, I like 18K nibs. I like 14K nibs. I like 21K nibs. I like steel nibs. I like nibs. So I wouldn't, meh. Also, that was a scientific argument. Meh. Also, bear in mind that I don't know if that's what you're getting at, but if you've only used steel nibs and you want to make the move to a gold nib, I don't want to sound pessimistic, but don't expect too much. Some people have this expectation that a gold nib is going to blow their mind, and then they get one and then they're like, this is just like what I had. Yeah, because it's not the gold that touches the paper, right? It's just the tipping. And yeah, there will be gold nibs that have a nice, lovely bit of bounce, and then that's great if you like that thing. But some people want a really rigid nib, and then they hate it. So I really, if possible, try it. And have reasonable ambitions. It's very important. Again, I don't want to sound pessimistic. You can have fantastic gold nibs that will blow your mind, but you can also have gold nibs that are, you know. Is it bigger? That's a rather personal question. What are we, what are we talking about? I lack context. Sorry. Pelikan, Königsblau versus Ackermann Delftsblau. Which do you prefer? Both really nice inks, actually. I really like the Ackermann Delftsblau because it is a superbly behaved ink. I'm not saying the Pelikan is not, but I really like the Delftsblau. It has a lovely shade of blue that I really enjoy. I've been very tempted by Scribo pens. It's not a German brand. I don't know why I said it that way, but you know. What are your thoughts on them? I like them. I have one. I think Aziza sent me this at some point, and I think her intention was to sell it, but then she stole so many pens from me that I thought, oh, really? Oh, I guess I'm keeping this one. here's the Scribo M1 Abrams. No, I forgot the specific model name of this, and now I'm embarrassed, but I have a blind spot for remembering this pen model, but someone will fill me in. I like it. Soft nibs, be very careful. It's like Omas, they spring easily. Very light touch, even the non-flexy ones. Very light touch, they bend out of shape very easily. But if you can handle that with a light touch, lovely writers. And I found this a very pleasant shape and size. You'll find it on the website, they don't have that many models, I'm sorry. Let's see, what else do we have? What else do we have? How about cycling in Canada? Yeah, that's not the same as it is in the Netherlands. It's a little tougher. I should do another collaboration with Brian Goulet. I agree, and I've talked to him about it. But he's obviously, these are difficult times, right? So, but I would like to do something, especially now that everyone's at home. I think it would be fun for him and me to let me entertain you, etc. You know, we can do that. When him and I team up, that typically happens. Visconti Opera Master broad nib versus Pelican M1000 broad nib versus the Migi Emperor broad nib. Which one should I pick? The one you like best. Because those are different pens, right? So you really have to, now it's also a matter of personal taste coming in, I would say. If you could only use one ink brand, what would it be? Like SBREBROWN. Waterman is a fantastic brand, relatively inexpensive inks, and they behave very well. The Waterman Blue is, Serenity Blue is one of my favorites. Super well behaved, but their purple is really nice too. The brown is very nice, not as nice as B.R.E. obviously. I'm just kidding, but they are nice. Yeah. What else do we have? What would be the most money you would spend on a fountain pen? Too much, my friend. And that's why I don't buy a lot of things. What else do we have? How many pens do you own? Well, more than I thought, actually, looking at this. I thought it was down to 20. I'm going to do a body count at some point, but it is curated. Very curated. It has to be a pretty exceptional pen for me to keep it. And again, that doesn't equate to expense, right? Opus 88 Omar, I love it. I use it a lot. So we'll be doing a review of the Platinum Curators. And what are my initial thoughts on the concept? Why not my official statement? Then I'm a grumpy bastard. But my official statement is, if you want to use a clicky pen, use a ballpoint. But there are professions where it would be useful to have a single hand operated pen. But then does it really make sense? Like, I mean, I find it hard to believe that if you would be, say, a soldier and you're under enemy fire, but you also have to take a note, that you would take out a fountain pen. I'm not trying to, seriously not trying to ridicule anyone, but I wonder if that is the most sensible choice at that point. So the one-hand clicky, but I know a chef who uses one. They'll use a vanishing point. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I've never fully understood the concept, but that's just me. I want to see it. It looks very cool. And I've been in touch with Joost Appelboom, and he said, so I'm thinking there will be a Curator soon. As a left-handed pen user, I have found Spencerian copperplate calligraphy hard, but my handwriting has improved by trying. Yeah, it is hard. All those styles are very hard. You should do what Leonardo did. So you write from right to left and you mirror every letter. Then everything is just like for a right-handed writer. Any thoughts about the new upcoming ASC Triangolo? I would really like to see one, but ka-ching in it. Do I still have the veggie fountain pen? When it turned green, I thought it was time to let that one go, Steph. Yeah. Will you do a regular live chat? Yes, and I do apologize again for the earlier technical issues. I had created a post, which I posted a link on Instagram, but it wouldn't allow me to actually start a live thing. I could join it as a person, but I couldn't start the video. This is probably a shortcoming in my technical ability. I thought that, having used YouTube for a while, I'd be able to figure this out in 30 seconds. Vanitas, vanitate. Omnia vanitas. Now, I got my first nice pen yesterday, a Faber-Castell Ondoro. That is a nice pen. It seems like the orange finish is slowly being discontinued, so I had to have it. It's a nice pen. It's a nice pen. And Faber-Castell, their magic with nibs is disturbing. Their steel nibs are so good. Am I a sci-fi buff? Not really. Not really. I like Star Wars. It's even doubtful if that's science fiction. I haven't really read science fiction or anything. And I don't really follow it, no. What's your view of hand-turned wooden pens with high nibs and refills installed? Why not? A lot of them are kit pens, I think. There's nothing wrong with a good kit pen. And I think some wooden pens are extremely artisanal. A good waterproof ink. Well, Mont Blanc had their waterproof inks. I don't know if they still do. They were pretty good. And I'm thinking of another one. De Atormentis had their document inks. Was it De Atormentis? Rohr und Klingner. No, I think it was De Atormentis. They had document inks which were also very good. Do not put Indian ink in a fountain pen. It will be completely waterproof, I guarantee that, but you have turned your pen into a single-use pen. Will 3D printed fountain pens ever become more mainstream? I think so. I think it just needs time. I mean, you see, as I said, like William is doing it. Piotr Pens in the Netherlands is doing it. And he even prints his titanium nibs, which is very cool. They're very pricey, but they are very cool. I think it will become, as the technology becomes more accessible, I think it will become a more widely available thing. Is there a waterproof turquoise ink? I don't know. Again, the De Atormentis had some interesting colors, but I don't know about a turquoise actually. When you think thoughts, what language are they in? That's a good question. I would say Dutch or English, depends a bit on what I'm doing. If I do something like this, then I try to think in English because I have a lot of Dutch idiom, because that is my mother tongue. And then sometimes Dutch idiom comes out, like you can't make chocolate of that. That's our expression for I don't understand, like I cannot put this together, I can't understand what you're saying, I can't make chocolate of it. But in English that sounds like you're an idiot. So there is that. What's your favorite Indian pen? That's a good question. There are beautiful handmade Indian pens, which I think are a lot of fun. The Lotus pens I think are quite nice, for example. What do you think about Nikaya pens? I think they're amazing artistry. I don't own any, but they are the artistry is very nice. What do you think of Namisu? I thought they were quite nice. Very nice, simple but well made. Yeah. I have not used an Instant Pot in my cooking. I should. I look larger when on the living room television. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Yeah. I've noticed that. Do you enjoy any less expensive pens? Pen BBS or Moonman? I no longer have my pens from childhood. My Schaefer's, Mont Blancs, and Parkers are lost to me. Yeah, I enjoy my inexpensive pens as well. So that's some inexpensive pens are a lot of fun, and if they are properly made, then yeah. Is Klaverblad still open? I don't know if they are with the current virus situation, but yes, when I was in Leiden, Klaverblad was still open, the oldest tea shop in Leiden. But I wonder if they're not the oldest tea shop in the Netherlands. Beautiful. How come you are so good at English besides being in an English-speaking country now? GA or general awesomeness? No, I'm just kidding. Practice. It's really a matter of practice. Any skill, including speaking a language, is practice, and my English is not perfect. But I look at my earlier videos and I sometimes think, wow, that's bad English. So I know that I've progressed, but you keep doing it. You have to keep doing it. It's very important. Do I enjoy Gong Fu tea ceremonies? I've had one once and it was fantastic, yes. Try having no hair. Yeah, my man, give it time. It's happening. Trust me. I don't really mind though. How have you been using your pens in quarantine? Well, I still have work meetings and such, so I do use them for that. So that works. What else do we have? If you're not flexing, is there any advantage of a gold or titanium nib over stainless steel? Not really, and I would also be careful with flexing gold nibs. I mean, unless they're actually designed to be flexed, you can spring them, and this has happened to me, and it's something you have to be careful about. People don't always realize that. I didn't always realize that earlier on, so be careful. Fountain pen memes. Hello, nice to see you. Yeah, you see, people are saying, I'm amazed at what I've been banking the last 6 weeks because we're not going out. Yeah, exactly. Now, we can have a very deep discussion about what that means for the economy, but yeah, I mean, from a personal viewpoint, yeah, we are saving money, right? The Plague by Camus, yeah, that'll have to be there as well. Ever make use of radiology in your neuroscience research and study? To the degree that we have done fMRI years ago. And I interacted with not really radiologists, but people who do, I mean, we did. The radiologists would check each scan we did of participants to make sure if they were okay. Because if you have an MRI scan, then you may as well look to see if someone is okay, right? What if they have something in the brain that's off? So we did do that. That's always fun. Yeah. I try to collect and use, of course, a pen of every German pen company still in production. About 25. Any secret tips? Yeah, that's the weird one. Lindauer. Lindauer. I think that was right. They make pens. Strange pens, but fun pens. And they make their own ink, which is nice too. Hello from Spain. Hello back from Canada. There are 2 UFOs behind me. Yes, I try to ignore them in hopes that they go away. They may be the source of the voices as well. Do I think DNA is an alien invention? No. No, I think it is an extensive process of evolution and selection that has created that. Am I worried for a second wave of this virus? I wouldn't be surprised. That's why I think it's good to stay home now, and maybe we can regain life, and I think then we will probably have to stay home again until we have a proper vaccine. I thought about ham radio. Yeah, I probably should, huh? Anyway, what else do we have? Why are the Dutch so good at speaking English? Necessity, man. Necessity, because nobody speaks our language. So we have to learn all these languages. Is SBREBROWN ink bulletproof? No. I would say no. I've done some like underwater, no, that's not underwater test, what do you call it? Like I've put some water on the ink. It stays legible to a degree, but don't expect any remarkable properties in that regard. Marlin Pens. Yeah, I've used Marlin Pens. They're interesting pens. Italian-made pens. Quite nice. And ties into another question. How about Santini? Very nice too. Handmade, which is kind of cool, I think. No, the students do not have to write actual papers with pen and ink. I wish that was a thing, but pens are disappearing from the classroom too. A lot of students now take notes in the classroom on devices. It's the way it is. Times change. Thank you. Someone thanks me for the reviews. I appreciate it. Slipcap 3776. No, haven't tried it. Haven't tried it. So yeah, I think that's something to add to the list. What do you think of a Mont Blanc Meisterstück 146 with an OBB nib? The good nibs. Thoughts on Jordan Peterson? Yes, he's very interesting. I also think he sometimes likes to polarize a bit, just to polarize. But sometimes you need to polarize to make people think. So I understand that. Could you recommend the best, not too expensive fountain pen I could use for Spencerian? If you really want to do Spencerian, I would really probably use a dip nib with an oblique holder. But yeah, no, I think that would be the best suggestion. I'm also not the I'm not an authority on anything, but I'm definitely not an authority on Spencerian. Okay. Do you think vintage flex tech will come back? Yeah, I'm among the people who don't understand why it isn't. I cannot believe these old metallurgical processes have been lost. I mean, it's not alchemy, right? There is, I don't understand. There are companies who made flex nibs like Parker that are still in, like, they're still in full swing and they work. So I don't understand. I don't understand. And I've heard all kinds of theories, like, oh, they used to forge the nibs. Oh, now they stamp the nibs. Oh, it's a different alloy. No, it's not a different alloy. Oh, it's the shape. No, it's not the shape. And then there are people, I think Richard Binder, I want to say Richard Binder has a theory that maybe it was, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't pin this on him. I thought it was Richard Binder, who said something like, well, actually, a vintage nib was never as flexy as it is now. It's just like over time, it's kind of worn in a bit, and now it has that springiness. Just, you know, so that's another interesting way to look at it. Like maybe the vintage flex nibs never were as flexy as they were. We have made them flexy. Whoa! Like, you know, mind blowing. Like it never was what we thought it was. It was something else, etc. So there is always that. Okay. Platinum 3776 versus Sailor Pro Gear. It's a good question. Both are great pens. I wouldn't say one is higher quality than the other. I have a slight preference for Sailor nibs, but that's just absolutely personal preference. Okay. Do you have any vintage pens in my collection? Asked Steph. No, no. I haven't. We talked about this very briefly earlier. I do have a Parker 75 from my granddad, which clearly is like an emotional thing more than. But yeah, so there is that. But I don't really have many vintage pens. I know I should probably change that at some point. Someone thanks me for the Stoicism stuff. I'm glad it helps. I mean, I think it's helped me, so I think it's useful. Okay, what else do we have? What does the Netherlands have that you wish would come to Canada? Yeah, this is one for the insiders. Croquette. Geen kroketten hier. Yeah, I have to do it in that voice. But no, croquette is a type of deep fried snack, and it's both. It's like Schrödinger's snack. It's both disgusting and delicious at the same time. So that's kind of what I miss. Okay. I'm encouraged to hear you own a reasonable number of pens. Yeah. No, I know there is this image. Like I have reviewed hundreds of pens, but I don't own them. Don't forget, most of those are loaners, right? So, and even if a company sends me something and I get to keep it, which happens, but not as often as you would probably think. Often they want their stuff back. It has to be something exceptional for me to keep it. And often what ends up with those pens is that they're just given away, either online or to friends that I run into here who like pens or whatever. But no, I don't have that many pens. Any pen flush that you make and use? Yeah, I have a video, very old one, how to make your own pen flush, and I do that. But usually, to be honest, I just use water, but I don't use very exotic inks, to be honest. Would I have a go at creating my own pen? I think it would be best for mankind if I would not. I'm not known for my specific technical skills. Plus, I would like someone who knows what the hell they're doing to make a pen, and then we could sort of market it together. I think that would be a fun project. The Osprey Milano is a generic carrier for number 6 nibs. Yeah, it's nice. The Osprey pens are nice. Did you make a video on what memory technique you use for study? No, but memory kinds would be interesting, wouldn't it? May have to do a video on that. Is this interesting to people? If I do videos like on random brain things and random psychological things, you can say yes or no. I won't be offended, but then I have an idea. You're the market research here, right? There's about 200 people here, so. Okay, what else do we have? As you advance through your pen journey and life gets more hectic with more responsibilities, aka adulting, does tinkering with a pen to get it to your liking get harder or unwanted? No, I don't think so, but I have come to understand that there is a lot to tuning a nib. And either I have to learn every step of doing that to do it properly, or I leave it to an expert. And for me, leaving it to an expert and paying for it, but then also getting guaranteed quality back, is worth it. To me, that's worth it. So that's what I've been doing. I can make a nib a little wetter, that's not a big deal. I can make it smoother, that's not a big deal. But when it comes to actually grinding, it's not as easy as it seems. And again, then either you invest everything in learning how to do that, which you can, or you say, Nibmeister, here, take my money, do it, and you will get something back that is perfect. Which of Marcus Aurelius' meditations do you find yourself referring to most often? Well, there is my favorite. That's probably my number one thing from Marcus Aurelius that I remind myself of very often. There is, of course, the thing of it's not external events, it's how you think about it, but that's a generic Stoic thing. The one thing is something that he actually quotes from, I'm pretty sure, Democritus. The universe is change, life is opinion. The universe is change. It changes continuously. 3 months ago, we didn't really have a COVID situation. Now we do. We'll also get out of it. If everybody does their part, we can get out of this. And your life is opinion. Everything is. Everything in life is opinion one way or another. You are right or you are wrong, doesn't matter. It's still an opinion. So that one I use a lot in different situations. Yeah. Okay, what else do we have? I'm just scrolling through questions, I'm sorry. Wingsong 601. Yeah, that's a pretty nice one. I seem to recall I've used that and it's a nice one, but there are so many. All the numbers, What do you consider a good introduction to read in neuroanatomy? Neuroanatomy, I got your email. I will respond. Give me a second. Things have been hectic. Not about this, but I mean, that was a very kind email. Thank you. Neuroanatomy, incredibly complicated, and the average book of neuroanatomy is like 500-600 pages. If you want a really nice, simple introduction that is actually also remarkably well written and has a lot of information, you just want to learn a bit about the brain. Yes, Oxford University Press has a series of books called A Very Short Introduction to all kinds of topics. There's one on Stoicism, which, by the way, is very good too, from Brad Inwood. I forgot the author of this one, but it's very easy. A Very Short Introduction to the Brain. Any bookstore that can order books will be able to get it. They're very mainstream. Great short introduction. A very short introduction to the brain. Yeah. Okay. Okay, what else do we have? Scribophile, yeah, that's the one. That's slow, isn't it? Did you ever review FP Nibs? He's in Spain. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I met him in the Madrid pen show. But I haven't reviewed it, but I've heard extremely good things about it. Do you use nodeless inks? No, I don't. And that's a sweeping generalization, but after one nodeless ink irreparably stained a pen and one nodeless ink destroyed one of my pens, I have sworn off nodeless. I'm sure many, if not most of them, are perfectly safe, but no. And especially when I heard an interview with Nathan Tardif, and his response was, if people complain about my inks destroying pens, they should use mildly colored water. That really put me off the whole thing. If that's your approach to dealing with your customers, then no thanks. This sounds very harsh, but I'm giving you my opinion. I was asked for this, so this is my opinion, right? And again, I'm sure that most inks that Noodles makes are absolutely fine, but that remark in particular, that really put me off the whole thing. I don't think that's really the polite thing to say when you make inks that destroy pens. Okay, let's see what else. Will I be purchasing another Ryan Cruzak pen in the future? Who knows? He invited me to come and stay there for a bit, obviously when all this craziness hopefully is behind us, and we could do something like make a pen and video the whole process. So I think At some point, Eric and I will have to do that, because that would be... Georgia would never be the same, let's put it that way. The pen addict, this is someone tagging, yes. I should be in the pen addict podcast. I'm always open for it, but I'm not. I never volunteer myself for these kinds of things, because I mean, I don't. My ego is not that big. So like, if anyone wants me in anything, let me know. I'll be in there. But I don't go around asking for these things. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Do you recommend pursuing a PhD in neuroscience? I recommend pursuing a PhD in anything. I think it is a great way to learn about yourself and learn a lot of skills that will really help you get to know yourself better and then help you progress in life. That may sound very grand, but it's not meant that way. But you working on a PhD is also working on yourself, because you are working on a very specialized thing for multiple years, often you're in a lab, but also kind of by yourself. So you learn a lot about your own shortcomings, but also your own strengths, and I think that is absolutely worth it. Yeah. What else do we have? What are your thoughts about Emerald of Chivor clogging a piston-filled pen? I haven't experienced it, but I haven't used the ink so much. When it comes to inks with extreme sheen or extreme glittery things, I typically avoid them. I'm assuming that my earlier nudeless remark has also made it clear that I'm pretty conservative with my inks. But I mean, I would rather use a washable blue, but know that that will not destroy my pen, than a super fancy ink with all kinds of glitters and sheen and 5 lights to turn on every time you write with it, but that may actually end up destroying your pen, right? Okay. If one has an M805, is there any reason one would buy a Lamy 2000? Well, they're different pens, right? I mean, they're very different designs. So one is very modern, the other is much more classic. So I would buy it for the looks. They will write differently. There will be different writing experiences for sure. Okay. If I could sort of revive a brand, what brand would I like to see back in pens? Well, I was quite partial to Omas, and I was very sad when they left. It was sad. I was sad. What else do we have? Safari, Loom, Cigaras, Hemisphere, Eco, Metropolitan, which is the best? That probably depends on who you ask, but also what your purpose is, right? Because they are different pens. What else do we have? Are there inks that contain one's own DNA to preserve it for eternity? Keep an eye on Noodless, because I can picture them doing something like that at some point. Like, oh, here's our new DNA ink that has real bits of people in it or something. What else do we have? What are your thoughts? Oh, that's an interesting one. What are your thoughts on taking notes by hand maybe better than digitally? Yeah, there is definitely some work that suggests that when you write something down by hand, you can retain it better later. So there is better recollection, better memory of that whatever it is you're writing down later, as opposed to, say, typing it out. But it's a different. You're using slightly different motor skills, right? Typing is a somewhat different action from actually writing. I'm doing this in cursive, but print would be the same thing. And I can see it. I also think that often writing forces you to be more deliberate and pay more attention, be more focused on what you're doing than sort of mindlessly typing something. So I have no trouble believing it, really. There's also been some work on children, school-age children, that if you teach them how to write. You see, this is another example. In Dutch, there is no difference in the verb to teach and to write. We have one verb for both. So sometimes I mix up these things. Same thing as rent and hire. Anyway, so if you teach young children to learn to write by hand, that does have positive effects on specific parts of the brain because they're training specific, like, fine motor skills, whereas typing is a different action, right? So that there is definitely, I would say, some reason to believe that. Because I would recommend that. I also recommend, I think that's better for studying than just blindly typing or trying to transcribe say a class or a lecture verbatim on your laptop. I don't think that works. You write down those things that you think are important, because then you're also thinking about it. The most difficult disassembly video I've done, I think it was the Waterman Karen, because I was really hoping I'll be able to get that nib out, but I couldn't. So this is a very good question that I really enjoy. Why are you so shy about giving your opinion when so many of your viewers are desperate to hear your opinion? Because it's a nuanced thing. First of all, I could say, and I'm not saying that, but I'm just grabbing what I have. You know what, I'm going to take this because I have this at hand here. This is a very cheap BIC, so I think we can all harp on this, a mechanical pencil. I can review this and I can say, I hate this. It sucks. And I could use all kinds of other much more forceful terms to say that. But there will be people who love this, right? So that's my first issue. If I say this is a terrible product, then people who actually love that may feel offended. Now, trust me, I'm not necessarily super worried about offending people, because that comes with the territory. You can't please everyone. But there's a difference in between being respectful and forcing your opinion on people. So I don't mind giving my opinion, but I do try to do it in such a way that I don't purposefully offend people, because I think that is not a good thing. Then there is the fact that a lot of stuff is very subjective, right? When you are reviewing products, I could say the Scribo Feel has a nib that's very soft, but someone who is used to dip nibs that are incredibly, like vintage dip nibs, are incredibly soft, may say that's one of the most rigid nibs I've ever used, right? So there's also a balance there. So it's not that I don't mind giving my opinion, and I try to, but I do want to do it in the most respectful way I can. And then there is the final aspect of all this, which is also important to me. My specific approach to doing reviews is trying to give people the information they need to make a decision for themselves. Sometimes I do get very enthusiastic, right? Like recently with those Log B products. I love them. Yeah, I love them. And then I will be very enthusiastic. But everything in moderation, right? In that case, I was very enthusiastic. But I would rather give you the information that you need and say, well, you know, it is wax canvas. If you have an allergy to wax canvas, you probably shouldn't buy it, right? I'm exaggerating now. But then you have to make that decision. So instead of me trying to project my opinion and influencing people, I don't want to influence anyone. I just want you to see, this is what this pen is about. It's celluloid, it's very attractive, it's a piston filler, it's made in Italy, it has a gold nib, but it also, all of these factors also mean it's going to be very expensive. Let's be fair. If each of those boxes adds another $150 to that pen, that's the way it is. So that, I think, is important to me. That I try to stick to the facts, and I will give an opinion, But at the end of the day, I try to just show you the pen. I don't know if that makes any sense. I felt like I was rambling, but anyway. Kevin says that my reviews brought him to the world of pens. I appreciate it. Thank you. What's your opinion about Schaefer pens? I think they're nice. Maybe find them a little bland. Me. But usually pretty solid writers. What is your opinion on Indian fountain pens? I think there are some very good ones. The Gamma pens are nice. As I said before, what's the other one? The Lotus pens are nice. There's a number. I don't know if I have an absolute favorite, but I do like it. All right. Queen Kaz, hello. Nice to see you again. What else do we have? Okay. What else do we have? I'm just going through things. Yes. It seems like the answer is neuroscience. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Poutine, fries, and curds. Yeah. It is a thing outside of Quebec. My personal issue is I don't like cheese, which is, oh my God, he's Dutch and he don't like cheese. Yeah, that's true. But so for me, the fries and gravy I can do. I don't really like the cheese curds. I know it's the Samurai Sword collection. Yeah, that's sold because when I moved to Canada, I didn't want to. I didn't want to bring those. I know I could have, but I no. Although it would have been kind of cool, like the Kill Bill with the soldiers and the plane, but I don't think they let you do that for some reason. Okay. Am I exploring anything? Because yeah, collecting people. Am I exploring any other collections? Not really. I try not to, because when I start to collect things, I go down rabbit holes, and I know I do. That's my personality. So know thyself, and I don't. No. Are you an introvert, and is Aziza an extrovert? We're vert curious, so I think we both switch a bit. I don't think either of us is necessarily one of those things, but if you really want to know, I think both of us are more introverted than extroverted. But we can do things, and we can be things, right? The Rodent Friend, yeah, the Rodent Friends have unfortunately snuffed it. They are no longer with us. They were. One was the last ones I had were the rats. One was a natural death, and the other one had to be put down. Had a disease. Yeah, it's always sad when a pet goes. So I'm quiet. I'm maybe I should sing a song when I'm reading these comments. Tiptoe through the window, by the window. I probably shouldn't. Who's the best nibmeister that you can recommend? A personal matter. I have had nothing but superb experiences with Mike Masayama of MikeItWork.com. He's busy, long queues, but that also attests to his quality. But he was trained by Mr. Nagahara of Sailor. So if there is a dude who knows what the hell he's doing with nibs, it's Mike Masayama. This is why I refer to him as the O-sensei. He has made some of my pens right that I couldn't use before, and now they are stellar. So I have zero reservations in recommending him. There are many other great guys too who are newer on the scene but are also doing fantastic jobs. So by no means is Mike Masayama great. I'm thinking of the nib grinder. He's fantastic. I'm thinking of Dan Smith. He's been around for a while, but he does great work. So it's not only Mike, but if you ask for my personal number one, that was your question. Hashtag Mike, hashtag boom, hashtag make it work, hashtag O-sensei. Mike it work, O-sensei. Okay. I am an attorney. I write all day, every day. I need a pen that I could lose without regret. My present best configuration is an Osprey Milano. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good option if you are cool with losing it. Um, do you think pigmented inks are safe to use? With proper pen hygiene, if they are fountain pen inks, they're probably fine, but do make sure you actually clean your pens. Penader Arco, is it worth the price? Well, it's not arcocelluloid. This is the issue, and I know this divides the world, but why would you call it Arco if it's not arcocelluloid? I mean, you could have called it all sorts of things. You choose to call it Arco. Where is it? This is arcocelluloid, okay? It's called arcocelluloid because it's arcocelluloid. This is arcocelluloid. It's called arcocelluloid because it's arcocelluloid. Guess what? This is arcocelluloid. It's called arcocelluloid because it's arcocelluloid. It would be kind of weird if I were to, I really should be careful what I say here because I don't know anything about cars, but it would be kind of weird if I would develop a new brand of car and I would call it Audi. I mean, I don't get it. Yeah, it's not trademarked. I understand it. But why do you call it arcocelluloid when it's not that? You're trying to ride the wave of the arcocelluloid, which may it all be not justified. I know that. It's overpriced. I know that. But why call it Arco? So my answer would be no, it's not worth the price because it's not arcocelluloid. Differences between the 3776 nib and the President nib. No, slightly different shape. I wouldn't say the President is softer, but it's been a long time I used a President nib. I remember it as actually not a very soft nib, but that could be utterly wrong. Will we do this live chat again? Hello from Greece. Yes, hello back. Why not? I'm having fun. There's 223 people, which is 224 people. Sounds like the Monty Python sketch of people flying out the window. You either get it or you don't. That's okay. 223 people. Yeah, so why not? We can do this again, yeah. Do I still have communication with Matt? Matt Armstrong, the Pen Habit? Yes, I do. We're not in touch regularly, but we are in touch. And then every time we send one of us sends the other an email, and the other takes a month to respond. We both do that every time. It's perfectly fine. As far as I know, he's doing well, and I think he's happy, and that's the most important thing. So I miss him too, but I would never. I'm not saying that you were suggesting this for the record. I'm not encouraging him to come back and do pen stuff or whatever because that's up to him. He made this decision, and I think it's very important that he sticks to that and does what makes him happy, right? Hashtag happiness, hashtag boom, hashtag make it work. Hashtag arcocelluloid. Okay. Oh yeah, someone comments on the tapping, like the that in classrooms. Yeah, I know. It is a thing now, but oh, let's turn that off. What is your view on quills? Like them, don't own them. But would be interesting, but that's because I don't do that type of calligraphy, but it's pretty neat, right? If you want to sell a pen because you have more than you should have, where would you go? I say this because I suppose I have a somewhat vested interest because I think I'm listed as one of the founders of the Instagram thing, a virtual pen show, but I'm not. I don't get anything out of virtual, like nothing. But it is a good platform, and people sell pens there, and it's. I can't say it's relatively safe. You're doing business with people you don't know, so it never is. So use normal common sense and precaution, but it works pretty well. Someone else is grateful for the Stoicism videos. Well, I appreciate it. These are videos that I do because Stoicism has helped me, and I'm fully aware that they're not for everyone. They also get way fewer views than the pen videos. That's fine. I understand that. It makes sense to me. But the people who do keep watching them are typically very enthusiastic about them and find them very helpful, they say. So I appreciate that, and I'm helpful and grateful. Yes, someone else says that's great. Least favorite brands of pen. I'm not sure if I really have any. I find the modern Parkers, the modern Watermans to be honest, a lot of those companies, Schaefer too, I find them a little, to be honest, a little bland. It doesn't mean they're bad pens, I just don't find them visually super appealing. All right. How does Stoicism influence your pen reviews? Well, it kind of, that's actually a profound question. It has made me more sensitive, I think, to the effect of what you do on others too. Imagine a situation, I'm not saying this is a realistic situation, but I have been in that situation a few times. Imagine that you have a one-person pen company one person makes pens, and they send you a pen to review, and you don't really like it. If I then say this, I don't like this about it, I don't like that, this sucks, I could run that person out of business. And that's a really big thing for me, because I come across, I'm just going to put it this way, I come across as an asshole sometimes. I know I do, but I'm not, and I care. And that's an issue, because that means that if you care, I'm now in a difficult position because I want to give an honest opinion about this pen. But I could also destroy someone's company. If you have, like, what do I have now? 51,000 subscribers. And I'm going to harp on someone's, like, one guy's pens. That's something I want to avoid. Now, I don't lie in reviews. I've never done that. This I can honestly say. But I'll be careful. So I try to nuance things and put them in perspective. I once saw an interview with a Dutch food critic. And I thought I could relate to that so well. So I thought this was a brilliant way to put things. So here's what I'll tell you. He was asked, do you like doing these restaurant reviews for a newspaper? And he said, no, I hate it. So the reviewer was taken aback and said, you hate it? And he said, yeah, because I am not like, and then he mentioned some other guys. He said, these guys review the top-notch Michelin star restaurants. Now, those restaurants, they pretend to be a lot. So you can tear them apart because they have the arrogance to say, we are 3 Michelin stars. That's a high claim to stake. Big claim to stake, you know what I mean? He said, but I review mom and pop restaurants, and they are as good as the package they cut open and they use to prepare your food, right? If I review a $2,500 Mont Blanc pen, that had better be a damn good pen. And I have no trouble being very critical about those things. But if I review a $120 pen made by a guy in his attic with a lathe, I try to be, again, not lie. If there's stuff I don't like, I will say it. But I try to be careful about how I put it. This is not like that. Let's not get into this. Is not misinformation or alternative facts. I will still say what I don't like, but I try to be more sensible about how I put it. No, not more sensible, more sensitive about how I put it. Mont Blanc can suck it. If you put out a pen that's $27.50, well, then you're pretending that pen is very special. But if you're just a guy and you make your pens in your attic for the fun of it, who am I to disagree, etc.? You know what I mean? So, this was a long answer, but it's a very important point to me. Because again, these things matter to me. And that is something that a Stoic viewpoint has given me more. Again, the universe has changed. Life is opinion. Oh, interesting. Yeah, add something about the ASMR quality of pens, like clicking sounds. Yeah, I could do that. That would be interesting. What else do we have? I have rather small hands, but it seems like most fountain pen reviewers have big hands, which shifts preference. Do you know any reviewers with small hands? I may start a blog or video channel if not. There are some people with more petite hands. Gourmet Pens comes to mind, but she's my wife. But I mean, she has smaller hands. But having said that, I mean, there are others. Chris Sains comes to mind. Chris is a lady, and she hasn't struck me as someone who has massive hands, so there will be people. But what I think is you should start your own channel. Do it, because you add your own information, your own viewpoint, which I think is very much worth it. Thank you for all I've done for the pen community. Thank you. I try to contribute. The Masters of the Fountain Pen series videos, yeah, those were superb. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Have I used Moonman fountain pens? Yes, and they were quite nice. Applebaum, trustworthiness to ship a fairly expensive pen in terms of wrapping the parcel. Yeah, for sure. No doubts there. Thank you. This is gratuitous niceness. Thank you all. I appreciate it. What do you look for in a pen? Is it just the writing experience or the appearance too? Yeah, both. It's both. I like pens that look good to me. That could mean anything, right? And to you it might mean something else, but to me I like looks of a pen. That's what I meant earlier with Parker and such. I find them a little bland now. But at the end of the day, it's the writing experience. A pen can be the most beautiful thing in the world, but if it doesn't write, it's just a paperweight. And then you can always send it to me, and I'll free of charge throw it out for you. Have I talked to Matt Armstrong about maybe doing a podcast together? Yes, I have, and I will pick that up again because I have the feeling that he may have some time right now, like we all do. So let's try that. Yeah. What do we have? What's the brand of the canvas pen case you enjoy? Yeah, it's Lockbee. I would show it to you. I don't know if my camera picks it up, and it may be mirrored as well. But Lockbee. I'm not sure they're shipping now because of the virus, but at some point they will, right? And then I don't know what this means, but then, obviously. Excuse me. In your opinion, oh wait, there was another one. Hello, I'm a reporter. Hello, reporter. I take a lot of quick field notes in a passport-sized notebook for later expand on the ideas. Yes. My writing is small for that reason. Yes. The rest of your comment has been cut off. I can only read to fit many words. Continue the jog. Hashtag movie reference. In your opinion, if you want more, please type more, but I couldn't read the end of it. In your opinion, is the ASC Gladiatore Medio worth it? And as a size comparison, how does it measure up to a Pelican M800? I want to say they're about the same size, but it's a while. Is it worth it? It's Arco celluloid. Hashtag Arco, hashtag True Arco, hashtag OG. So the Arco makes it more expensive. Is it worth it? That's a difficult question to answer. Let me put it this way. It's a nice pen, and I found it very pleasant to use. So if you're looking for something that's Arco and that's more modern, as opposed to a vintage Arco pen, then yeah, I would recommend it. They're not cheap though. None of the ASC pens are cheap. So this is a fact of life, which we can have long discussions about, but that is the way it is, I think. Okay. I find myself... Oh yes, okay, good. Yeah, there was not really a question. The Lockbee reviews, yeah, they were fun. Especially the shower scene. Gorillas in the Mist. Now, I asked earlier, but would you consider doing a head-to-head with Pelican 400 versus Diplomat Excellence A2 Skyline? I could, but I'd have to get both. So I'm not saying no, but I have to find a way to get these pens because I own neither. Oh, in small space. This is a good continuation of the question. I'm doubting between a Platinum President or a Pilot Custom 74 in extra fine both. The Platinum President is a very nice pen. If I would have to pick between a Platinum President and a Pilot Custom 74, then I might get a Pilot Custom 74. But what you should really do... I'm sorry. Give me 1 second here because I want to show you something. And of course, I have... What you should really do if you're considering a Pilot Custom 74, here you have the Wing Sung 699, which is basically Pilot Custom 74. It even has the same filling mechanism. And this is 20 bucks. So if you want one, I would say buy this, try it out, see if you like it. It is a specific pen. It's quite comfortable. It's not for everyone. That's a way to inexpensively try out that pen model, and if you like it, then buy the actual Pilot. Do you believe there is a void in the fountain pen review landscape, video or blog that warrants attention? If so, what would you like to see? We always need more women. And I shan't be giving a lot of details on this now because none of this is actually out yet, but at some point I was asked to review for some platform. You'll see this at some point. This is not a video thing. To interview, I would say review, no, to interview another pen blogger, and I could pick who I would choose, and I picked Kerry from Pens and Tea because she's Canadian, which I thought was fun. And she's female, and I thought that would be nice because when you think about all the male reviewers that we have, who all like do the best job they can, but then you also think of the number of female reviewers we have. They're there, but I really like to see that balance because everyone brings something to the table. And earlier we had this discussion about large hands, smaller hands. Well, there are men with smaller hands and men with larger hands, just like there are females with larger hands, smaller hands. This is a very technical, small thing. Everybody has different views. So that I think is something, I'm not saying it's a void necessarily, but I would like to see it more females in this hobby. It is, I mean, I'm just thinking of the local pen club, Calgary Pen Club. There are females, but maybe 10% is female, 90% is male. And when we have meetings with just men, or meetings with a few women present, the dynamics are different. And I mean that in the most positive way possible. And I think that's a lot of fun. You can all learn from each other. So that's something I would like to see more. Yeah, Decoban oversized, huh? I have used them. I don't own one. I have not reviewed one. I should probably con someone out of one. Anyway. I will say this about the new Decobans. They're quite big and heavy. This section is incredibly comfortable to me. They're very expensive, but I found them really comfortable writers. Hello from Rotterdam. Hello back. Please do pen review with the same voice used for the disassembly videos, huh? Yeah. Could be arranged. Goat videos. Yeah, the goat videos always polarize people because... But there is no Mont Blanc, then it cannot be the greatest of all time. Oh, no, yes, but that's why I said in the introduction, these are my personal greatest of all time pens. In it! You know? But yeah, I like doing them. And someone actually at some point said it's actually not greatest of all time because every year they change. Yeah, that's a pretty fair point, isn't it? So we should probably come up with a different title, like the best of the year, Boaty instead of goat or something. Yeah. Should I get a Visconti Bronze Age? Why not? The nice pens, and the lava is very cool. 52 or 68 grams per square meter Tomoe River. Yeah, I would. I prefer the 68 because the 52 feels very flimsy, but some people really love that. So yeah, it's a matter of personal taste. Who do you think are some of the must-meet people in the pen community? I think Sarge is one, and Lord Windermere. Yeah, Lord Windermere for sure. I think Sarge is one for sure because he is an incredibly nice guy, but beyond that, he has an encyclopedic knowledge of pens, which is great. So he's fantastic. His wife Jazz is fantastic. There are many others. Brian Gray of Edison Pens and Andrea, his wife, fantastic people. Ryan Cruzak and his wife, fantastic people. Brian Goulet is very nice. Rachel's very nice. Brian Greer, dangerous as hell because he will make you buy something, but of Chatterley Luxury is very nice guy. Jonathan Brooks, super nice guy. I'm leaving out some people because that's just the way it is. But all incredibly nice people. So that if you are at a pen show, absolutely meet them. Yes. What else do we have? I think. Where is Lord Windermere? Yeah, he is here now. He went on a little trip, but he's here now, so there should be more. Because you have a lot of pens. However, the most unreliable send back for repair have been my Mont Blanc. As you get what you pay for. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say all Mont Blanc pens are bad or all Visconti pens are bad. With Mont Blanc, there was a period I found that I had a lot of issues with their nibs. But then recently, the most recent pens I've tried, the nibs have been really nice. So I don't know if that was a temporary thing. It's also always difficult, right? It's very difficult to say, well, one nib was bad, so now they're all bad. That's not the case. But it is something to bear in mind. Yeah, it's always difficult. With Visconti, it's definitely, let's face it, people, it's known issues. But now they've switched to gold, and I really hope that's going to make a positive difference on that. Planning reviews of non-US custom pen makers. Sure. Not concretely planned, but I'm open to anything. Should you not watch a review due to the demographic of a reviewer? No, I think you should watch as many reviews as you can, irrespective of the demographics. And I'm also not trying to say that you should only watch, I mean, I don't even think I came close to suggesting that. I don't think you should only watch reviews of female or only watch reviews of male pen reviews, nor is that, I think, what you're saying. But you should just watch things, do your reviews, your research and learn, right? Yes. Let's see what else we got. What else do we have? So you're a salesman, gross. I've been called worse things. I don't remember saying I was a salesman, but why not? What else do we have? I think we are slowly coming to the end of this because we could do this all day. And we're close to 2 hours. So let's make this the final question. I don't enjoy smoothness and absolutely love sailor style feedback. Are there any pens you would recommend with similar feedback, or do I just use Sailor forever? Yeah, I understand what you mean about the Sailor feedback. There is Aurora. Aurora pens do also have a specific type of feedback, which some people really like, and some people really don't. But if you are on the spectrum where you like a bit of feedback as you write, then I think that You may enjoy the Auroras as well. I think they have maybe somewhat stronger feedback than the Sailors do, but it is fun, and they are nice pens, and they have some nice models, piston fillers, etc., which may appeal to people. All right. Thank you all for being here. That was a popular thing. I do apologize once again for this interesting technological mix-up at the start. I still don't understand. I will do my homework and see how I get to make that work, because it would be kind of nice if I could schedule something and you can kind of be in there and then I can just join in on that, but I didn't seem to work. Strange. Maybe it was a glitch. Maybe it was my stupidity. Maybe it was both. We will never know. But I'll try to find out. So thank you all for being there. This is my general universal thank you symbol. I hope this was somewhat interesting to you all. And I'll glad to see you again. I'll keep you posted, and I'll try to, if we do this again, I'll try to post an announcement a bit earlier so that people know in advance more the things with things. All right, now you all stay safe, and I shall see you soon. Bye.